Transformers 5. Transformers The Last Night. Where do I begin with this? So, yeah, I just saw the movie. Went in to see it at 20 past 2. Came out at like half 4 or something, I don't know. And there were so many questions and just so many things that this movie raised. And as you can tell anyway, this is a review, and I'll probably do a spoiler review next time, but this particular video will be a spoiler-free review. There'll be no spoilers. So, in case you can't tell, I'm sort of bewildered, confused, among other things, because the trailers, this movie, get rid of any expectations you have in your mind for this. Like, if you're going to see this movie, any expectations you have, or like if you have any idea of how the story's going to play out, get rid of it, because it's probably wrong. I had a big idea as to how the story would play out, and it went complete opposite in this. The history element, they teased that so much in the TV spots and trailers and stuff. There was none of it in this movie. There was no history. There was the Knights and Merlin, and that was it. They showed pictures of Sam Witwicky and Archibald and other human characters and robots and stuff, and they mentioned bumblebees in World War II. They didn't explain why, but they showed it. And another thing is that like half the scenes you see in the trailers and TV spots were cut out of the movie, so it's really like the movie was just really lackluster. It was so disappointing. Like, I don't even know how to explain it without spoiling it, but like, if you ever seen the movie Independence Day Resurgence, like, you all know how bad that was. Picture that movie, put Transformers in it, and you have this. You have this movie. It's the exact same movie. This movie didn't, like, I don't even know what I can even say about it. I can't even fathom words about this movie. Like, the history was not there. There's characters that show up in this movie like once or twice that never appear ever again. This movie had a lot of story points that really had no relevance at all. This thing is one that I'd say disappointed me, but this one was the most disappointing of all. Well, not disappointing, but I can't even think of the words right now for it. The movie is called The Last Night, but don't let that fool you. This movie The Last Night has no relevance to this story whatsoever. The identity of The Last Night, whether you know who it is or not, it doesn't matter, because The Last Night has no relevance to the story at all. It's just a title, that's it. The Last Night doesn't even save the world. It's just really cringy. And, a lot of humour was good. I will admit it. Cogman was a lot better than I was expecting. He had a lot of funny moments. Sir Edmund Burton did as well. Had a lot of Anthony Hopkins humour. Loved his character. And I loved Cogman a lot. But there was just so many characters in this movie that came and disappeared without explanation. This isn't a spoiler. Well, it might be to some, but it's not really in the films that much, so... There's you remember the Constructicons in Revenge of the Fallen? There's one of them that appears in this movie for one scene for no reason. I don't even think he transformed. It's just the camera zooms up on him and that's it. You never seen ever again. Don't know why he was there. But there's a Transformer there that just shows up for no reason. Okay, all the Autobots know him, but why? Where was he the past few films? They show like different protoform meteors crashing down, but into the water, into cities and stuff, as you've seen in trailers and TV spots, but okay, that explains like in future movies where some of the Transformers are going to come from, but half the world was in this movie. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, even the toys lie. Like, the stories that the toys tell are not even true. Dragonstorm is not made up of two robots. He's made up of 12 knights, which it's crazy, and they transform once. But even that was pointless because Dragonstorm was such a useless character. Like, there, Vivienne Wembley, she's teaching about history. I hope I'm not spoiling it here. I'm trying not to anyway, but she's teaching about history of the knights and Merlin and stuff to her Oxford University students. Yeah, even though I didn't even know this history up to this point, and just a lot of this story, the writers got so lazy. They explained nothing. There's so much I want to tell you, but some of it could be spoilers, so I'll save it for the next one. But there's just so much, it's just, I can't even fathom words. That's how bad this movie was. I mean, it was a bad movie, but once you overlook a lot of the stuff and just try to enjoy the humor, I suppose it was enjoyable to an extent. But overall, this movie was just contradicts itself so many times. Optimus Prime versus Bumblebee, that's a fight everyone was looking forward to. And Optimus Prime versus the Knights. I can assure you, everyone was assuring me, or everyone was saying, they showed nothing of the fights between Optimus and Bumblebee in the trailer. They pretty much showed you the entire fight, bar one or two scenes that were cut out of the movie, but and then there were three other scenes as well, but they pretty much showed you most of the fight, and in chronological order, funnily enough. But jeez, the movie was just so bad, and the ending to that fight just killed the movie, just made the movie worse. There was just so many things. The whole plot point about the movie, about why Cybertron is connected to Earth, even though they didn't really explain it. I mean, they mentioned why, but they didn't explain it, is pretty much irrelevant because it serves no purpose to the story. Quintessa, a character I was really looking forward to see because I thought she was so badass and stuff. Apart from that scene with her and Optimus Prime, she had no relevance to this. Really, no relevance whatsoever. And I assure you, I knew Optimus Prime was going to be in this because of seeing the filming that his truck wasn't there much, so I had a feeling he wasn't going to be in this much at all. Optimus Prime is in this movie for about 10 minutes. This movie is 2 hours and 28 minutes long. He's in it for about 10 minutes. 2 of those minutes are him versus Bumblebee, if even that long. Oh yeah, he doesn't fight the Knights. That whole thing with him fighting the Knights, they gave that away. That's all there is to that. I may look like I'm faking my reaction right here, but I'm not spoiling it for you in this episode, so I can't really talk about it as much as I want to. So, the soundtrack, another thing. I was surprised when people were saying this, but the soundtrack was horrible in this movie. It was not memorable. It was pretty much just remixed version of Trailer 3. I'm glad they include Arrival to Earth, though, in that one scene at the end, the very ending of the movie. And that was it. From a storytelling standpoint, this movie, so much of the stuff is irrelevant in this movie. There's characters that just show up and disappear, never to be mentioned again. There's characters that... I'm not going to say that, but... There's just so much about this movie that just really is irrelevant. The storytelling was... The writers got lazy. And these are writers that wrote Academy Award-winning films. Amazing Spider-Man 2, Iron Man, Black Hawk Down. So there was no reason for this film to be bad. But it was. I think this... Funny enough, I think this is the one Transformers movie where everyone in the world can unanimously agree was horrible. Oh my... It was mainly the story. I mean, a lot of people liked the story and just found, other stuff. To me, it was just the storytelling was bad. It's just the soundtrack was a lot of the characters were pointless, and then there's just some scenes that everything was fast. And people said this movie was fast paced. I didn't understand it. It's fast paced. Scenes just jump like that, and it's ridiculous. I was 3 minutes late to the movie, and I didn't understand what was going on in that medieval battle. I felt like I missed about 10 minutes. And I probably did, because 10 minutes in 3 minutes. Then again, this movie was supposed to be 5 hours long, so I guess so much was cut out of it that it was just all like horribly edited together so that you have this mismatch where everything's just jumping around the place. One thing I did like was that Barricade. They did Barricade a lot better. I didn't like his voice was okay, but they like his design wasn't as bad as it looks in the character profile. It is a bit better, but it's still like really bad. Megatron has no purpose in this film whatsoever. You think he's going to negotiate with Lennox and them to, about taking down Optimus? They're not talking about that at all. Trust me, that's not what they're talking. That scene is at like 20 minutes into the movie, I think. That's just Megatron going, "I want my crew back." That's all that scene was about. It's just, it was like even as the Decepticons had no purpose in this film. Like this movie would have worked so much better. That whole final battle, there's no Decepticons, there's no nothing. It's just Autobots literally shooting at nothing. You see one or two robots, but that's it. Where like what the fuck were they shooting at? It was just unbelievably like poorly put, poorly edited, very poorly written, and just overall unbelievable. They make references to other characters, like robot characters, a few times. By a few times, I mean like two or three times. And even that doesn't have relevance. Like, everything in this movie has no relevance to the plot. And even the main plot point about Cybertron and Earth has no relevance in the end when it's all sorted out, even though it technically isn't. But it's just, like I said, if you've seen Independence Day Resurgence, you've seen this movie. That's really all this is. And, I'm probably going to cut this off before I spoil it for you because I feel like I can't really talk about it without spoiling it because this movie is just like it's just unbelievable. So they failed to explain so much. One thing, this surprised me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people were disappointed. Barricade does not fight Bumblebee. There is no fight between them in this movie. There's that chase, and that's it. Barricade is seen once more after that, just like the first movie, just disappears. This movie gets 5 out of 10. No, I give it about 4.5 out of 10, at most 5. Like, I expected so much better from a movie I was looking forward to for 3 years, but this movie was just so bad. They didn't even try. These writers got lazy. They literally watched Transformers cartoons and movies, and they just picked random things, mashed them together to see what they would get. And what we got was just horrible. The one thing I liked about this movie was how badass the Knights sounded when they talk, even though they all sounded the exact same. Also, somehow Lockdown Ship is a lot smaller than what it was in Transformers 4. Transformers 4 was pretty much like a huge football field size, and this it's only about like a drone ship size. It's ridiculously small, has no purpose, only literally like no purpose whatsoever. And I don't even know where it went at the end. I think it just flew off at the end. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to save everything for my spoiler review. That's when I can really talk about it, because I feel like I can't really talk about it without spoiling, because like there really isn't anything to this movie. This movie can't justify itself. And I was just really surprised by just how fast it wasn't. Some of the characters. I can talk about the characters. Isabella Moner, useless. Has no relevance to the story whatsoever. Kay Jaeger, even worse. Squeaks, I don't even know why he's in the film. Hot Rod, okay, I liked him. He was a lot better than I was expecting. Who else is there? Cogman was hilarious. I liked him a lot. Edmund Burton as a human character, Anthony Hopkins, that was a great performance. Who else was there? Freaking Optimus Prime. I don't even know what I can say about Optimus Prime in this movie. He just literally... I can't even explain without spoiling it. Like, Optimus Prime just has no relevance to the story. You might think, oh, but he's evil. Surely he's the one bringing Cybertron to Earth. No, there's no reason why Cybertron's coming to Earth. It just is. There's no reason. Optimus Prime being evil has no relevance. The movie would have worked a lot better if he didn't. Bumblebee, without spoiling it, for anyone that's seen the movie, you know what I'm going to say about Bumblebee. Bumblebee was the character that they did no justice for at all. They rehashed some elements from the first movie about Bumblebee, and then just like I just had so much questions about Bumblebee in this movie, and none of them were answered. It was just like what? It was just ridiculous. Um, they teased there was going to be a new Prime in this movie. We thought it was going to be, say, Hot Rod or Bumblebee is going to be a new Prime. There was no new Prime. Well, technically there was, and technically there wasn't. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can figure that out for yourself. But the characters were just, most of the characters were useless in this movie. Megatron, okay, Megatron was just random. One minute he's, okay, all along he wanted to save Cybertron, okay, and then that's it. Like, Megatron has no other goal just to save Cybertron, which you'd expect. And it's not even explained how he became how Galvatron became Megatron, or what happened to Galvatron. It's not explained. It's not explained how Barricade came back to life. And then there's something about Bumblebee as well, which I'm going to save for the spoiler review. But this movie's just, the characters. Most of the characters have no relevance. If you cut out Cage Yeager, Isabella, Bumblebee, Optimus, Squeaks, Megatron, and some of the other characters, even that one Constructicon that was there for no reason, this movie would have worked just as well. But like I said, it's just independency with Transformers. So anyway, yeah, this movie gets 4.5 out of 10. This is the worst Transformers movie. Ranking them from best to worst: Age of Extinction, the best. Transformers 1 is next, then 3, then 2, then 5. I can't believe I'm saying this. Anyway, don't let my review get you down. If you're going to see the movie and you want to enjoy the movie, go ahead, see it. I hope you enjoy it, even though it's a really bad movie. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Now the score is out.